Madowie M.
Good race coming up, race 7 at Wagga, and they're about to start calling them in. Examine the Books, $4, Sandpiper Lane, $5, and Goodwood at $5.40. They're the main ones in commission. Should be a good race. Let's head to Wagga, and here's Al.
The runners are about to be called up, Matthew, for the running of the Ryder Cup, and yes, it should be an interesting contest. It's very even, the market. $4 for Examine the Books, $5 for Sandpiper Lane, $5.40 for Goodwood. I'm just saying Goodwood won the Wagga Gold Cup here, I think, 3 years ago for Barb Joseph. That race, of course, is a 2,000-metre event in May. Goodwood's amassed a very handy prize pool, $251,000, but his recent form hasn't been special. He did resume in the Adaminaby Cup recently and ran 4th there. So nothing you can't put anything past Barbara Joseph, trained runner. She's got the ability to win the race, but Goodwood certainly not racing as well as he was in his younger days. But as I said, he is a Wagga Gold Cup winner. And there's money for him at $5.50. $3.70 the favourite now, Examine the Books, trained locally by Greg McDermott. Peter Roble, the rider, and Examine the Books is the horse you're seeing about to go into the barrier stalls. $5.10 for Sandpiper Lane. Strictly Family is at $10.60. $5.60 for Goodwood, and Moon Rebel in the market. Number 6 at $6.50. Previous race was won by Jabberoo Lad, and prior to that we saw Barbara Joseph win with Sneak Preview. Now we've got about 2 or 3 out as the time signal for daylight saving time in eastern Australia goes through. And right on 5 o'clock, there's about 3 out for the Ryder Cup. Thank you, Chris. We're just about right. Goodwood about to come up, a former Wagga Gold Cup winner. We're waiting for Talination from the Richard Freer stable, and Moon Rebel in the popular Arthur Menzies colours. Arthur, a very well-known owner in this and the Canberra regions, has those blue with green sleeved and white capped colours, and Arthur's a terrific fellow. He's very well known, a popular man, and he's got Moon Rebel engaged here. Last look at the board, $3.70, Examine the Books, $4.90 for Sandpiper Lane. Just about set now for the Ryder Cup, $3.70, Examine the Books, $4.90 Sandpiper Lane, and the field are set for the running of the Ted Ryder. All set, thank you, Les. Right to go, a tick after 5 o'clock in Wagga Wagga. Racing in the Ryder Cup, and Westover is slow, and so too is Rice Farmer, who won't gallop at all in the early stages. Winning the jump was Sandpiper Lane, tackled for the lead by opponent when they hit the course proper. They were being followed by Raffler, Strictly Family, 4th, Tabs Fury next. Examine the Books between runners. Going forward was Moon Rebel out wide, and Talination's pulling its way towards the leading group. The pace is not all that solid. Further back in the race is Goodwood, who's obliged to sit out 3 gallopers deep. Westover is over racing, and last of all was Rice Farmer, a muddling run Ryder Cup as they head out towards the 1,000. Opponent on the inside shows the way. Second, 1 wide Talination. On the fence is Sandpiper Lane. The grey 4th Raffler. After a length and a half is Strictly Family. Moon Rebel joined it on the outside. Tabs Fury back along the paint, being followed by Examine the Books, 3rd to last the favourite. Around it goes Goodwood, followed by Westover, and last of all is Rice Farmer. They're clicking up now as they seek out the home turn at the 650-metre mark, and its opponent in front by 2 lengths. Sandpiper Lane has had a beautiful run. Suke is about to ease to the outside of the leader. They're being followed by Talination and then Raffler. Further back to Moon Rebel, being followed by Tabs Fury, and Examine the Books as well back. The Canberra galloper Sandpiper Lane had burst to the lead in the Ryder Cup. On the inside opponent, down the outside comes Moon Rebel and Goodwood, but Sandpiper Lane is travelling. Suke pulls the whip. Sandpiper Lane from opponent. Goodwood down the outside, but Sandpiper Lane clear. Opponent won't go away, and Moon Rebel's coming late. Sandpiper Lane just in front, has nothing left on the line but Sandpiper Lane. Sandpiper Lane wins the Ryder Cup. Opponent and Moon Rebel are close up, so too Examine the Books, and they're followed by Westover. In behind them, Goodwood, Tabs Fury, Strictly Family. Well back Talination, Raffler and Rice Farmer, one of the last ones home. Just a beautiful ride by Nick Suke. The horse jumped out, he got it on the bit, and while others wanted to reef and tug, Sandpiper Lane sat on the leader, extricated away from its heels when they turned for home at the top of the straight, and although there was very little left in the tank at the finish, Sandpiper Lane, ridden by Nick Suke, trained by Gary Kirkup, has won the Ryder Cup. A 7-year-old by the Argentinian import Savage Toss, who was brought out to Australia by Mike Willesee when he had the Transmedia stud at Cootamundra, is out of the mare Eastern Minx, a Snippets mare, owned by P.E. Groves, B.J. O'Malley and R.W. Kirkup, and ridden an absolute treat by Nick Suke. Number 7, second opponent, Mark Schmetzer. Number 6, third, Moon Rebel, Matthew Carl, and number 1, Examine the Books, ran fourth. The numbers in the Ryder Cup are 2, 7, 6 and 1. 1:38.44 was the time, and again, no sectional last 600. Well, if you've seen the race, it was a beautiful ride by Suke. The horse given every conceivable chance, and at the top of the straight, when he pulled out and said go, I thought he'd win by more. There wasn't a lot left at the finish. Sandpiper Lane at $4.60 and $1.80, number 2. Number 7 opponent, $3 even. Number 6, Moon Rebel, $2.10. The Quinella, $26.70, the Exacta $31.10, the Trifecta $254.50, and the first 4 you wanted 2761, a dividend of $1,200 neat, and the special dividend through the double is $4.40. Number 1 running 4th, Examine the Books. Number 4 ran 5th, Goodwood, and number 11 ran 6th, Westover. Numbers in the Ryder Cup. In what was a very, very slowly run Ryder Cup, 4 seconds outside the record held by Pride Rock. 2, 7 and 6 the numbers. 2 Sandpiper Lane, Nick Suke for Gary Kirkup. 7 opponent, Mark Schmetzer for his dad Les. And 6 Moon Rebel, Matthew Carl for Jim Scobie. Margins to hand shortly. You've heard the dividends, and we'll be back with more information from Wagga in just a few moments' time.
Okay, Al.